Submarine cables play a crucial role in global telecommunications by carrying vast amounts of data across the world's oceans. These cables are the backbone of the internet, enabling the rapid transmission of information between continents. While submarine cables have revolutionized communication and connectivity, they have also raised concerns about mass surveillance and data privacy. How are submarine cables linked to the rise of mass surveillance, and how does it work? Let's get into it without any delay. Data flow control of submarine cables is closely related to the rise of mass surveillance because it can impact the ability of governments and intelligence agencies to intercept and monitor data traffic. Governments and intelligence agencies often tap into submarine cables to intercept data traffic. They may use mechanisms built into the cable infrastructure or install surveillance equipment at cable landing points. Effective data flow control can impact the success of these surveillance efforts. It involves prioritizing different types of traffic. If surveillance agencies can influence the prioritization of certain data, they may be able to more effectively intercept and analyze the information they are interested in, potentially prioritizing surveillance-related traffic. Control over bandwidth allocation can impact the volume of data that surveillance agencies can intercept. If agencies can manipulate or influence the allocation of bandwidth, they may be able to target specific data flows for monitoring. Robust security measures, such as encryption, can make it more challenging for surveillance agencies to access and decipher intercepted data. Data flow control may involve implementing encryption and other security measures to protect data from unauthorized access. The routing of data through submarine cables can impact surveillance efforts. By influencing data routing decisions, surveillance agencies may increase the chances of intercepting specific communications. Some countries and regions have implemented privacy laws and protections that can impact data flow control. These protections may restrict the ability of surveillance agencies to access and monitor data without proper legal authorization. Governments and intelligence agencies may seek to manipulate or influence data flow control mechanisms to better monitor and intercept data traffic, raising concerns about privacy, civil liberties, and the need for transparency and oversight in surveillance practices. Balancing the legitimate need for national security with individual privacy rights is a complex and ongoing challenge in the digital age. Bulk data collection through submarine cables is a significant component of mass surveillance efforts by governments and intelligence agencies. This practice involves intercepting and collecting massive volumes of data as it travels through the undersea fiber optic cables that form the backbone of global internet communication. Intelligence agencies often intercept data traffic at cable landing points, where the submarine cables make landfall and connect to terrestrial networks. These locations are critical for accessing the data flowing in and out of a country or region. Submarine cables connect continents and regions, making them ideal for collecting data on an international scale. Intelligence agencies can intercept communications between countries and across borders, enabling the monitoring of global communication networks. Submarine cables carry an enormous amount of data, everything from emails and instant messages to voice calls, video streams, and more. Bulk data collection involves capturing and storing this data for later analysis. Intelligence agencies not only collect the content of communications, but also metadata, which includes information about the sender, receiver, timestamps, and other contextual data. Metadata can be valuable for identifying patterns and connections. The legality of bulk data collection varies by country and is a subject of debate. Some countries have laws that permit such practices for national security purposes, while others have stricter privacy protections. Oversight and accountability mechanisms are crucial to ensure that these surveillance activities comply with legal and ethical standards. Bulk data collection raises significant privacy concerns, as it involves the indiscriminate collection of data from millions of individuals, most of whom are not subject of interest to intelligence agencies. Critics argue that this practice infringes on individuals' privacy rights. The PRISM program was a classified mass surveillance program operated by the United States National Security Agency. It became publicly known through leaks by Edward Snowden in June 2013. PRISM allowed the NSA to collect and analyze electronic communications data from various internet companies and service providers. Under the PRISM program, the NSA obtained direct access to the servers of several major tech companies, including Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, and others. This access allowed them to collect a wide range of user data, including emails, chat messages, photos, and videos. The stated purpose of PRISM was to collect intelligence on foreign targets, including potential terrorists and threats to national security. It was intended to be a tool for counterterrorism and national defense. While the program was initially presented as a targeted surveillance effort, it was later revealed that PRISM collected a vast amount of data, including information on both foreign and domestic individuals. This raised concerns about the extent of government surveillance and potential violations of privacy rights. The PRISM program sparked a significant public and political debate about the balance between national security and individual privacy. Critics argued that the program violated Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches and seizures, while proponents contended that it was necessary for national security. The legal basis for PRISM was primarily the Patriot Act and the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA. However, the program's legality and constitutionality were hotly debated in court and in the public sphere. The program was subjected to oversight by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, FISC, which reviews and approves government requests for surveillance. However, critics argued that the FISC operated largely in secret and had limited accountability. Mass surveillance can infringe upon the privacy rights of individuals. International cooperation is needed to establish common standards and principles to protect individual privacy in the digital age. Surveillance can be used to suppress dissent and violate human rights. International organizations and agreements can help hold governments accountable for such abuses. Balancing the need for security with individual rights is challenging. Cooperation can help nations share information to combat terrorism and cyber threats while respecting privacy and civil liberties. Mass surveillance can be a tool for cyber attacks, and international cooperation is essential to combat cyber threats effectively. Encryption and privacy measures are critical components in safeguarding communications transmitted through submarine cables and protecting individuals' privacy in the face of mass surveillance. Implementing end-to-end encryption for data transmitted through submarine cables is a fundamental privacy measure. This ensures that data is encrypted at the sender's end and decrypted only at the intended recipient's end, making it difficult for unauthorized parties, including surveillance agencies, to intercept and decipher the data in transit. Using robust encryption standards and algorithms strengthens the security of submarine cable communications. Governments, telecommunication companies, and international organizations should work together to establish and enforce strong encryption practices. Ensuring secure key management is crucial to the effectiveness of encryption. Proper key exchange protocols and storage mechanisms might be in place to prevent unauthorized access to encryption keys. Also, protecting the physical infrastructure of submarine cables is essential. Measures such as underwater surveillance, tamper-evident seals, and monitoring of cable landing points can deter physical attacks on the cables. The development of privacy-focused technologies, such as secure communication tools and anonymous browsing options, can empower individuals to protect their privacy in the digital age. Surveillance can potentially stifle freedom of expression and inhibit individuals freely expressing their thoughts and opinions online or offline. This raises ethical concerns about the impact on democratic societies and free speech. The misuse or abuse of surveillance powers, such as targeting political opponents, minority groups, or journalists, poses significant ethical dilemmas. Ensuring oversight and accountability mechanisms is essential to prevent such abuses. Ethical concerns exist regarding whether citizens are adequately informed about surveillance practices and whether they have given their informed consent to such activities. The government should make sure to question who owns and controls submarine cables and how access is granted to various entities, because it can lead to legal and ethical dilemmas. Ensuring fair and equitable access to these critical communication channels is essential. Submarine cables, while essential for global communication, have also played a role in the rise of mass surveillance. Governments and intelligence agencies have exploited the accessibility of these cables to intercept and monitor data traffic on a massive scale, leading to concerns about privacy, civil liberties, and the need for greater transparency and oversight in the realm of surveillance. What are your thoughts about submarine cables and the rise of mass surveillance? Tell us in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel before you leave.